Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. But what if they could? What if, instead of putting Humpty back together, the king's men took him apart? What if they discovered that Humpty wasn't what he seemed? That he was something else? Something wrong? Something dead? The king's men didn't know what to do. They had never seen anything like Humpty before. His body was a patchwork of different colors and textures, and his eyes were empty sockets. He was like a doll, but he was also alive. The king's men were afraid. They didn't know what Humpty was, or what he wanted. They decided to lock him away in the tallest tower in the kingdom. But Humpty didn't stay locked away for long. He escaped, and he began to terrorize the kingdom. He would climb down from the tower at night, and he would steal children from their beds. He would take them to his workshop, and he would use his strange tools to make them into new Humptys. The king's men were helpless. They couldn't stop Humpty. He was too strong, and he was too clever. One day, a young girl named Alice decided to find Humpty and stop him. She snuck into the tower, and she found Humpty working in his workshop. He was surrounded by a pile of Humptys, all of them different sizes and colors. Alice was horrified. She knew that she had to stop Humpty, but she didn't know how. Suddenly, Humpty turned and saw her. His eyes widened, and he smiled. "Hello, Alice," he said. "I've been waiting for you." Alice backed away, but Humpty followed her. He was too fast for her. He grabbed her and held her close. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I won't hurt you." Alice didn't believe him. She could feel his cold, dead hands on her skin. She knew that he was going to hurt her. "Please," she said. "Let me go." "Not yet," Humpty said. "I have something to show you." He led Alice to a table in the corner of the workshop. On the table was a large egg. It was different from the other eggs in the workshop. It was bigger, and it was glowing. "This is my masterpiece," Humpty said. "I've been working on it for a long time." Alice looked at the egg in horror. She knew what it was. It was Humpty's new body. "You're going to put your soul into that egg," she said. "Yes," Humpty said, "and then I will be reborn." "But why?" Alice asked. "Why would you do this?" "Because I'm tired of being like this," Humpty said. "I'm tired of being a patchwork of different colors and textures. I'm tired of having empty sockets for eyes. I want to be beautiful. I want to be perfect." "Why have you been waiting for me?" Alice asked. "Because my perfect body is missing a perfect set of eyes." Alice had not noticed that the transformed Humpty children had woken crept up behind her. Just as Alice realized she was surrounded by egg-shaped former children, the room went dark. Alice woke to find herself in a pitch-black room with no light anywhere. She feeled her way around the edge of the room looking for a door, but it was so dark she couldn't find one. After what seemed like hours, she sat in what felt like a corner and started to sob. Alice sat there for an age, sobbing and wishing she could escape. After a while she stopped sobbing, and in that moment, as she expected her last tears to run down her face, she realized her face was dry. Alice slowly moved her hands to her face and ran her fingers towards her eyes. "Nothing. Oh my God, nothing." Alice screamed at the top of her voice. "He's taken my eyes." All the king's men found Alice covered in blood, half dead from starvation, and scratches all over her face where she had tried to claw at the holes where her eyes once sat. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Alice spent the remainder of her short life repeating those words over and over again.